Hello there and welcome back to the channel. It's been quite a while, but in today's video I'm going to talk about why I started photography and how it changed my life forever. I've tried to make this video several times. I'll tell that story in a little while. I've also got a new tripod and I'm out again with Henry Turner. So we're in for what I think is going to be a really rather good day. And I'm starting with a quick shot now of that view here. So I would love it if you were to come with us. Let's go. Before we get going today though, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a domain name, a website or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Right, like I've said so many times before, when I'm out and about, especially when I'm with somebody, you can easily get pulled into just enjoying the hike, enjoying the day. But I want to be creative today. I need to be creative because I've not made any photographs for a little while now. Been making some tables, which I'm quite proud of. Bit of woodwork, but no photographs. So I'm going to get one in the can right now. And just as we've arrived, we did have total blue skies, but I've now got some really wispy, nice clouds over the mountains in the distance there. Some subtle autumn colours, which are looking nice. They're not totally developed yet. Maybe another week or two. With that side light coming from there, low in the sky, I think it's going to be a decent start to the day. So, yeah, I'm just going to, I think it's got square crop written all over it, or at least an 8x10 or a 4x3, something like that. Not 3x2, I think it's going to be too wide. Although when I see it on the big screen, I may well change my mind. But I'm at f11, 1/60th of a second, just focusing on the trees in the distance. I'm at about 50 mil. I think I actually really like that. I think it's the clouds that are making it. So I'll show you that one now, but we've got a lot to get through today. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. Earlier on, just after we parked the cars, we received a stark reminder that we're photographing the living landscape when I noticed this beautiful little silver birch had fallen and been uprooted. It highlights the importance of the documentary aspect of photography and brings extra meaning to images like this. We then explored around a bit and eventually headed into the woodland to be welcomed by some lovely dappled light, autumnal bracken and a waterfall that we decided was too perilous to reach to get a good photograph. So we carried on up onto the fells. Right, an absolutely fantastic day so far, and we're now up onto the tops and I've got the camera set up on the tripod for a little shot of the view that way. The sun is right in front of me, got a circular polarizer on, take some of the glare off the lakes. But yeah, I will show you that in a minute. But I wanted to share why I got into photography in the first place, because I used to just think that it was because I liked taking pictures. I loved the landscape, so I liked getting out there and taking pictures of it. And there is an element of truth in that. But more recently, I've realised it's something maybe a little bit deeper. Don't click away, because maybe this is true for quite a few of us, especially landscape photographers who are often quite inward looking. All throughout my life, I've felt like a bit of a misfit, like someone that never truly fitted in. My parents got divorced when I was younger, and that sort of set me aside from everyone else. I felt really different to everyone else. I never did well in school because I didn't try hard enough. The teachers hated me because I wasn't fulfilling my potential. I've always just felt like I'm on the outside of the system a little bit. Although I had friends, I wasn't a weirdo. I was quite good at sport. That saved me. I've always felt on the fringe of things. That was maybe what drove me to join the police, where I'm literally operating on that thin blue line, that edge of society between, the normal people that we all are and the underworld. When I first picked up a camera, that sense of being on the outside looking in, getting behind the camera and observing life in that way felt like the most natural thing in the world. And it's only recently I've kind of been able to describe that, because that's still how I feel today every time I have a camera. When I was a wedding photographer, sort of going almost unseen on the day, but being there to capture all those amazing moments, because then when people see those photos later, they're like, wow, I can't believe you captured that. It's a really nice thing. I always try to be very discreet on the day which wasn't always easy when you're 6'2", but I think I succeeded. And it's the same now with doing landscape photographs. I'm trying to share my experience of being here on my own, sharing these experiences. And that's a big part of it for me, is to connect with the landscape, just me and the landscape, and share that feeling with the world. Now, one reason I did not start photography was to be shooting when there's loads of other people there. Now, the other day, when I tried to get this video going for the first time, I went to Bamburgh Castle in Northumberland. It's a classic sunrise spot, and I thought, right, I'm going to make the effort because I've not been up there for absolutely ages and I want to capture a sunrise. So I went up there, big long drive, got there at 6:40 on a Tuesday, and was welcomed with one of the most extraordinary scenes I've ever witnessed as a photographer. Bearing in mind it's 6:40 on a Tuesday, there was and I counted, over 20 other photographers with big cameras and tripods on the beach. It was just the weirdest thing. I don't know if it was a workshop or a meetup, but it felt awful and I wanted no part of it. They have every right to be there. I'm not having a go at them. I don't know what they were doing, but I mean, it was weird. There's no doubt about it. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm not there to be stood on the beach, just one of 20, 30 other photographers with a tripod. It's about being out here, having the adventure, having that sort of personal voyage of discovery every time you're out there. I think about that now every time I take a photograph. I'm that weirdo, that misfit who sees things that maybe other people don't see. And I want to capture that and share it, because sometimes, hopefully often, they are moments that are very special, that most people would walk past or ignore or take for granted. And it's that I love about photography. And I think it's that's that storytelling element which is always, always going to resonate. So on that note, I'm going to line this up, try and block the sun from the front of the lens because it's quite bright, and I think that's going to be okay. But let me know what you think about what I've said and about the photo. It is an absolutely fantastic day. Can you see Henry up on the hill there? Actually, look at the view over there as well. I'm looking forward to sunset, hopefully in that direction. I'm just going to make my way up to Henry. But as you know, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Now, in my opinion, Squarespace is just the best place for photographers to build their own website. I wish I'd discovered Squarespace right back at the start of my career, so I wasn't messing about with other systems that are difficult trying to make a website. The best thing about Squarespace is it's just so easy to use whilst also providing a beautiful looking website that's very functional and does exactly what you need it to do. You don't need any technical knowledge to build a Squarespace website. You just go to squarespace.com, you type in what you want to do with your website, and then they provide you with a series of really nice looking templates. You put some of your words on there, some of your images on there, and then before you know it, you will have a unique and beautiful looking website that just looks completely pro right from day one. The other beautiful thing about Squarespace is that it will grow with you. You can start off with a very simple gallery or a very simple blog, but as you start to grow and you want to sell a few things, then you can turn your Squarespace website into an online store, and that's just as easy to do as well. It's a few clicks and it's set up, you put your products on there, and you can start selling things like books or prints or workshops or calendars or mugs or anything that takes your fancy. It's just really exciting seeing the products and the services that you've put the hard work in to produce go on sale, and then when you get someone buying one, just one of the best feelings in the world. They also have award-winning customer service in the unlikely event that you run into some trouble. So go to squarespace.com to start your free trial today, and then use the offer code FIRSTMAN to get 10% off your first purchase. And that is a beautiful thing. Right, we've made it to the top, and you can see Henry, just there, doing a little piece to camera. Right at the top here, a view of Coniston Water. Over in the distance there, I've got this rather large cairn here, which is pretty cool. And then looking towards the Langdales in the distance over there. And I think that's going to be my sunset photo once we've gone up onto that little crag just there for sunset. I think that's the plan. This cloud is looking stunning. High altitude. If it stays like this, we get some colour. It is going to be a fantastic sunset photograph. So stick around for that. But one of the themes of this video, talking about how photography has changed my life, and maybe how photography has changed your life or could change your life, because there's just so many benefits to it, especially doing landscape photography where you get the physical exercise, but then you also get that boost of your well-being as you're being active and creative. And that's one of the things where it initially changed my life. When I worked as a police officer and I was dealing with all the shit I was dealing with, some very difficult situations, getting out and doing landscape photography, getting that escape from the reality was really important. And it was a really healthy, productive way of getting that escape as well. But then it became a job for me because that's what I wanted. And it's changed my life in numerous ways since then, including doing this YouTube channel. I'm out with a mate today that all came about through this. I've got my friend Andrew Marr who lives in Australia. I've got a mate in Australia who I talk to regularly because of photography and because of this channel. I'm stood here with just one other person on top of this hill. Often I'm alone and some people see you. And I'm like a complete idiot stood here talking to that lens. But I'm not talking to the lens. I'm talking to you. And I think that's just really special. And it kind of blows my mind every single time. And the beauty of photography is it continues to change my life. More recently, I started making the frames, and that's got me into the woodworking, which has become kind of my new hobby. That's not something I'm going to start talking about, but I love that idea of being new at something again.
So actually for me, you know what? I think I was the other way around from what I hear a lot of other photographers saying. I actually got into the technical side of photography first. I was never into the outdoors, weirdly enough, when I was younger. And then, very long story short, I travelled across Canada and I had my iPhone. I was taking loads of little snaps with my iPhone. By the time I got to the West, I was just mad to take photographs all the time. Eventually got to Vancouver, bought a DSLR, Nikon D3100, and then that got me outdoors then. And then I was like desperate to come back to the UK because I'm so passionate about home. And then I was taking photographs. So yeah, it was like the other way around, but I'm so glad it all happened because now I've fallen in love with this. It's brilliant.
Has photography changed your life?
So for me, obviously, well, maybe not obvious to some of your viewers, but I do this for a living. So in that sense, absolutely amazing. It's a privilege, like unbelievable. But for me, I think the value that I've got is like how I look at the world. It's just completely changed the way I look at the world. Like I'd never been somewhere like this and looking at the way the light's hitting the grass and all this and looking at the way the light's reflecting off Coniston, and that is the best gift I've got from photography. 100% is like, I'll be in some like dingy town somewhere, but I'll still be looking for like little snippets of beauty and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely.
Right, I'm set up for another photograph, and the sun is going to dip behind the mountain there in quick time. And I think for this photograph to work that I'm set up with now, I need to have some light on the land just here in front of me. Yeah, it just makes the whole thing work. So I'm set up on the tripod. What is it? What tripod is it? It is the three-legged thing, Winston 2. Just getting to grips with it, but it's holding the camera nice and steady in this vertical position. I have the circular polarizer on to take some of the glare off Coniston in the distance, and then yeah, just going ahead and photographing that. Let's do it once more. Block of sun from the lens, and yeah, there's a nice bit of light on there. Some lovely autumn colours actually in the bracken kind of that goes down the valley, then some kind of trees turning around the lake. So yeah, bit of colour. There's a few things going on. I'll show you that image in a minute, but I think what I'm going to then do is probably finish the day over there. The day's going to finish way before sunset because the cloud's going down behind the mountain, or the sun is going down behind the mountain. So, yeah, just a great day of photography though, or a great hike, a great time out with a mate, with Henry Turner. Make sure you check out his channel, but I'll show you that image now, and yeah, that's it.